Mental illnesses, unlike broken bones, are invisible to everyone but those experiencing them.
The top 5 most common mental disorders include antisocial personality disorder,
bulimia,
anorexia,
Hypomania,
anxiety disorder.
anxiety disorders next to depression are among the most common mental health disorders in young people. This can include phobias, panic disorder, social anxiety, PTSD, and OCD. An estimated 10% of young people suffer from any of these.
Treatments are available, but nearly 2/3 of people never seek help from health professionals. Mental health problems prompt thousands of people to take their own lives.
In fact, 6,000 people commit suicide each year in the UK. It is the biggest killer of men up to the age of 49. Men account for 3/4 of the total figure.
Mental illness still carries a massive stigma. For whatever reason, it's still not taken as seriously as physical illness.
It causes people not to talk about what they have. It causes people to feel ashamed or embarrassed.
1 in 4 people in the UK will experience mental health problems at some point. While mental health problems are common, most are mild, short-term, and can be treated by medication.
If you've been affected by any of the issues covered in this discussion, or for any more support and information about mental health issues, please visit mind.org.uk. You can also seek help speaking to your doctor or someone that you trust.
Right, everyone, what do you guys think about mental health, being young, adults, working people, all that kind of stuff? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I definitely think it's like, I don't know if that's why we've hesitated, but it's kind of an untalked about or uncomfortable topic for people to talk about. But I think it's being spoken about a lot more recently from what I've seen with social media and everyone having a platform to kind of share their experiences. But I think, amongst maybe family and stuff, it's still quite a uncomfortable thing to talk about. Maybe not everyone feels like they can talk about it to people that they're close to. What do you guys think?
I feel like because there's so many different kind of mental health disorders that it is hard to actually understand or know how to treat someone with it or how to behave around someone that's got them symptoms.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that it's a very difficult topic to even begin talking about it because, like you said, it's such a wide topic. And when trying to narrow it down, you look at your background. As a woman, your experiences of mental health issues is very different to me as a man. As a black man or as a white man might be very different as well. So there's all these different matters, different bits that come into it. So it's still an area which I think it's around the world, to be honest, that we need to explore about, need to create discussion around it and all that kind of stuff.
I feel like with mental health, people don't really talk about it until it's too late. Like, for example, on social media, like there's not bullying, but people will talk about certain topics, talk about people, and talk about, because you're behind your phone, like they just say whatever they want, and they don't really care about the consequences. Then after, when someone's committed suicide or someone's suffering from mental health or whatever, that's when people are like, oh my god, we need to talk about mental health and stuff like that. It's really like, it's sad. Like, it's sad to see that's what's going on, especially with young people on social media.
I don't know if it's the right word, but you almost feel like you're ashamed to say that you've got a problem. I feel as if like maybe when it comes to mental health, it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Taboo.
Like taboo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of like a taboo, like what you said, like something that's unspoken about. But I don't know what could be done. Like, say if we're talking about it specifically within the Ethiopian Eritrean community, is there something that can be done to make it more like, okay, cool, it's not, if you have a problem, like speak up about it, don't keep it to yourself. Like, how can people feel comfortable to speak up about it within their own community?
I feel like there's a big, like you said, it's a taboo to kind of discuss about it. Like, I mean, back in Ethiopia, like you feel like if someone is ibbed, for example, that word, like if you just put like a label on someone, you are disowned by your family, by the community around you, you are living by yourself, you're on the streets and all that kind of stuff, right? So there's this sort of the culture around mental health and understanding what mental health is. That itself is such like, we need, like, there's so much work that needs to be done around it.
I was going to say education as well. Like,
Yeah.
they just need to be educated.
The more people are aware of the situation, the less likely it will lead on to serious, bullying or discrimination or stigma.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good point, because I don't remember ever really hearing about mental health within my household, within my family. It wasn't something that was actively spoken about. So I think it's only now that I'm getting older and I'm actually seeing people talk about it online and, you know, going through my own experiences, then I'm actually like understanding, learning more about it. And I don't feel like it's something that we should feel, you know, ashamed about or guilty about. But I think unpacking that and like getting rid of that is takes work, and it takes a lot of like discussion. And I think obviously discussions like this kind of start the conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a crucial thing that you just said. I think like starting the conversation, that itself is a very difficult thing. Like if I find out someone, I don't know, suffering from depression, right? Like me personally, how would I even sort of start that conversation, right? So there's always like, I feel, I find it very difficult to kind of breach the gap and be like, right, you know, you okay? Like how are you doing? All that kind of stuff. And also it's like the way we go to the gym and we work out for hours and all that kind of stuff. I think personally, we all should check on our mental health as well, because that itself is such a big part of who we are, right? If you take like 5 minutes and sit down and be like, how's uni going, or how's my life, or how's my relationship with my family and everything else going. When you sit down and break it down, you realize, you might be going through stress. Because we talk about mental health, but there's a lot of it that's undiagnosed, right? People suffering from it, and sometimes you might not even realize you're suffering from it. And I think that's when
it's not always extreme. Like people think of mental health and think, oh my god, they're suffering from like
schizophrenia,
or like bipolar. But it can be something like just simple anxiety, like not being able to sleep at night, or like being scared to go somewhere or do this, or even depression.
But those things can, if they're left unresolved, they can actually progress to something more severe, and which is actually quite worrying. And I do think that in general, in the health service and things like that, which obviously we're really blessed that we have a free health service in the UK, but in general it's something that a lot of the time, because there is kind of quite a high demand, a lot of the time things do kind of have to get to like the worst of like the severity before it can even be taken like seriously or taken treated.
Back to what Samuel was saying, like if you have someone you can trust to talk to about it, you have to find someone you're comfortable talking with and actually break the ice and actually start talking about it, to be confident enough to tell the person you trust the problems you have, and that way you might find out the other person is also suffering from the same.
That's true.
Would you guys ever, if you guys were suffering from something, would you ever speak to your parents about it?
Not in a rude way, I wouldn't. But it's just like the way I am with my parents. I feel like I don't like to worry them. So if it's something that I feel as if like, I don't know, I can deal with it myself, then it's not something that I'd want to tell them about. Because more time, like with my mum especially, I feel as if like, if I tell her one thing has happened, it's been constantly like, are you okay? And like, I don't want that extra worry on her. So it's more of a case of, I don't want my burden to become a burden on them. The way I am, I'm not open with whatever I deal, like whatever issues I go through. It's just.
So who would you speak to about it instead, if you would speak to anyone?
So while I was in my final year of uni, I went and I went to, was it GP? I went to the uni clinic. The uni clinic. And then they got me speaking to a counsellor. And it was just literally, for me, I think it was just a matter of talking about it, and then you don't realise like how much stuff is built up, and then when I left after talking, it's like
did you feel
a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Was that the stress from uni,
or just stress of uni and like other personal stuff that's going on in my life? But it was just because I don't like talking about my feelings. Like I'm not that me and feelings, like, it's not the one. This is literally how I feel when it comes to it. I'm just like, nah, I can't deal with it. So I'm always the type of person, it's like, okay, if something happens, I don't deal with it, I just distract myself and push it to the back of my mind. But I realised it's not a good thing to do. I mean, I still do it to this day, but it's at least now I can be more in tune with how I'm feeling.
Correct.
And you actually took that step of going, because I think the first step is accepting help, which actually a lot of people don't do. And from what I've seen, people that suffered the longest is when they don't accept help.
Yeah, so me personally, I think I have a very understanding mother. She's like, so she grew up in Cuba and all that kind of stuff, so she's been more Western, So she has this side of her that's very Western and sort of just chilled out about things, and then she has the Habesha side of it as well. But what I'm trying to say is that I feel very comfortable to talk about whatever feelings I have or what's going on in my life. So I work in a trauma center, so like on a daily basis I see a lot of crazy stuff, being, you know, shootings, stabbings, car accidents, and all that kind of stuff, which is very traumatic. And for the longest time I thought, right, suppress. You know, I'm gonna be okay tomorrow, you know, all that kind of stuff, and just move on from it. And in fact, like I wasn't actually checking with myself and saying, right, how did that case affect me? Like, you know, there's cases still I think about it, it still lingers in my mind, and it's been like 2 years, 3 years. And I'm like, right, okay, cool, have I done anything about that? You know, it's like, so I said earlier on, just take your time, just sort of take a step back, sit down and think, go through your thing. If it's meditation, if it's prayer, or whatever works for you, find something that you can sort of focus on, look around you, look at like how life is at the moment. And if you need to reach out to someone, speak to someone, like find that person, and you can share all these feelings and emotions and everything that's going on with you. And for me, like having my family, my mom, which is very understanding, having someone to talk about, like to talk to you would be like a blessing.
I realise I can't speak to my parents
Right.
like that. So I feel as if you've got friends you can trust, like even that helps. It doesn't have to be a family member. It has to be someone you trust, and as long as it's out there, you can get help.
Of course.
I think I could speak to my mum. My mum is a nurse. She's not a mental health nurse, but she works in the NHS. So a lot of people in my family will go to her for like any type of health problem. They're like, just mommy. So yeah, she's very understanding. But at the same time, I want to like protect her as well. So I'll just like hold things in a lot. But there was one time where I couldn't, and I just had to let it all out. And I think since then she's been a bit more aware of like if I'm having, you know, like a moment. There was a period when I was actually dealing with panic attacks, which I'd never experienced before, and because I'd never understood it, and I was like calling my mum like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna pass. Like I don't know if anyone's ever had one before, but you literally feel like you're gonna pass out, and she helped like to calm me down. But after that, I kind of I did my own research on it, and like I went to my GP as well to like figure out if there was actually something wrong with me, like physically, and they said it wasn't. It was just the anxiety causing it, and I realised that it's all in your mind, and I had to see how I can control my mind, and I did a lot of research on how to do that, and I haven't really experienced it as much lately, but that was something my mum was supportive about, but I don't like talk to her about it like all the time.
So me, I don't feel like I think I could tell my mum, like she's very although she's very dramatic, like she is like, I feel like she's so dramatic, like every little thing she's so dramatic.
Could we all agree though, like how was your parents?
Dramatic.
Can we just,
Yeah, although she's really dramatic, but I feel like I can talk to her, like she always wants me to tell her things, but like there was obviously a period where like I was going through anxiety, and even sort of say like at uni, the idea of uni is stressful, like anxiety and all of that, like it's hard, but I wouldn't, like I don't talk to my mum about it because I don't want her to worry. They always ask me like, how's uni, how's this, how's that, but I'm just saying, yeah, it's good, it's fine, it's stressful, but it's fine, like that's all I really say. But like I have people I can talk to if I need to, but like I wouldn't go to my mum and be like, Mum, I'm suffering, I'm struggling with depression, I'm struggling with anxiety, because she'll just stress out, and I don't even know how she will deal with it, like and like how is she, although she can offer me support, how is she actually going to help me?
True.
Do you know what I mean? But
I feel like Ethiopian parents are more like focused on your well-being, not mentally, but how you're doing at school, how you're feeling,
Have you eaten?
Yeah.
And just the question of, like, how was your day today? Like, did you go through, I don't know, like general questions about your mental health.
It's like, how are you?
Yeah, like once a month or something like that should and could help.
Yeah.
I think because I was sort of thinking about this the other day, and I realized like most of Habesha parents, especially like diasporas, people that have come from Ethiopia or whatever, they've kind of gone through a lot to get here.
I know, it's actually amazing.
Right? So even once they're here, they have to deal with so much change culturally, and you know they've gone through. Some of them going through trauma, like
That's such a good point, and you don't realize.
We don't realize that, right? So it's like, in a sense, it's like, how how do they deal with it,
That's a good
right?
point.
So
Do they deal with it though?
yeah,
That's the
have
thing.
they dealt with it,
I
right?
feel like they just shun it
And
off.
I think
Right.
maybe because they've dealt with so much, and like they
want
don't
us-
complain, or we don't see that side to them, what their struggle. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why we feel. Maybe that's why we don't talk about it, because
Right, yeah.
and also there's a sense of guilt. I feel sometimes if I am going through like a feeling of depression or something, I feel guilty that I feel that way, because it's like I've seen people that are suffering, like,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I know that people have gone through worse, and I'm like I feel bad, so that's why it makes me suppress it even more.
See, I think so. I mean, I was reading that somewhere that said there's 1 in 4 people suffer from some kind of mental illness or mental health issues throughout their life. 1 in 4. That's a large number.
Wow, yeah.
So I think realizing, first of all, a lot of people are probably going to go through similar situations. They're going to go through depression or anxiety, so the most commonly known mental health issues. But like most of them, or most of us, feel that we're just going through it ourselves alone. And the minute you realize that, you're kind of secluding yourself from the outside help and everything else that can come in, right? So understanding it instead of saying, opening up to it and trying to like invite people into your friends, your family, to help you and just kind of just start a conversation.
Also, I feel like if your parents or your friends, they tell you their personal experience, you're more obliged and you feel more comfortable to like talk about your experience as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think anyone should feel ashamed, like if their child is experiencing mental health issues, like they shouldn't feel shamed or feel like they need to be almost in denial about it. Like it's okay, and it's not like you haven't done something wrong. Like as a parent, it's just like all you can do is support them and allow them to accept help, really.
If you could give one advice to someone who's currently going through, like if they're suffering or they feel as if they're suffering or they've got symptoms, what's one advice you would give them to help them get through it?
I think that with mental health, like everyone will experience it once in their lifetime. So you'll get through the period, and you just need to seek help, see someone, talk to someone about it, let it out in the air, and try to find people with the same kind of experience as you, and try to relate to like.
Yeah, and know that you're not alone, because I think it's a very isolating experience, and unless you kind of are speaking to other people that are going through the same thing, you might feel like you're the only one and no one understands. But the statistics show that it's so common, like beyond just depression and anxiety, like there's a spectrum of.
Of course, yeah. I think, I mean, to your question, I would say you've gone halfway through already, meaning for you to understand that you're going through whatever issue that you're going through, if it's depression or that kind of stuff, you're already halfway through this path of actually getting better. Because understanding that you have an issue is then
the first
the first step.
Now you're saying, right, you know what, okay, cool, what am I going to do after this? How can I go to my GP, or do I need to go speak to my parents, or whatever the venue it may
Even
be.
just a friend.
Yeah, exactly, just a friend, whoever may be.
Older cousin.
Yeah, very specific. But
Yeah.
Older sibling.
older siblings, so whoever may be. Now you're already halfway through. Now you are looking for sort of the light under the end of the tunnel, and keep pushing, keep working on yourself. Take 5 minutes, think about your mental health, and work on yourself.
And just know you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.